never put a limit. Which is the major one now? The minors will always keep on looking, even majors will become minor later on. And who will differentiate between the minor and major? Not even this much difference is allowed. The second challenge was, of those people who turned away from Islam and they rejected Islam, they were called murtaddeen. They just rejected Islam. They thought because they were far away from Medina Munawwara, they were in villages, they heard that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. Many of those people did not have the proper understanding of deen, so they thought, now since Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, what are we going to do with Islam? So they turned away from Islam. They were called murtaddeen. And the third group of people, that was the most dangerous group, was those people who started claiming to the prophets of Allah, and they had their groups around them, and they all together were planning to attack Medina Munawwara. These were three major challenges, and within these three, it did not take even a week when the fourth challenge came and took place also. And that was when King Hercules knew about the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, this is the best time to take over these people. This is the best time to destroy Islam from the surface of the world. Because Muslims are disturbed. They are not in the mood of doing the jihad at this time. They won't be able to stand together at this point. Let's attack the Medina Munawwara and get rid of this religion before it takes over the Christianity, because that was the Roman Empire that were all Christians. And he knew that if Islam will spread, one day will take over that religion. People will not even know what that religion is about. These were four major challenges. But three were very close because they were within Arabia. And the fourth was, of course, from the Roman Empire, which was a major challenge, but they were a little far away from Medina, so they had to take care of these three groups first. And subhanallah, at that point, we see the wisdom of Abu Bakr Radiyallahu Anhu, the intelligence of Abu Bakr Radiyallahu Anhu. This man who, throughout his history, was looking like a person who just knows how to sit in the masjid and read some tasbih and recite the Quran and lead the salah. When he was given that responsibility, and when people tried him at that position, up to this time, we have to agree, and whoever will go back to the history will realize that he turns out to be the best understanding person in the world. When it comes to that Islamic politics, he really showed us what is that Islamic politics, what are the rules of the Islamic politics, what is the way of running the Islamic government, and what are the ways of dealing with your enemies and with non-Muslims. I don't think we have time at this time to go into those details. The time is over. But these are the three major challenges that we need to remember. And each challenge is very important for us to know about the details of it, at least to some extent, so that we can understand what's the position of those who reject one of the fundamentals of Islam. Number two, those who turn away from Islam. Number three, those who claim to be the Prophet or believe in one of those people who claim to be the Prophet after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because these were the three major incidents that took place. These were the three major groups that were challenging Islam at that time. And if we really look at it, it seems to be that Muslims were totally trapped. And at that time, something very amazing took place. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before his death, he had prepared an army It was a large army under the leadership of Usama bin Zayd radiyallahu anhu. Who is Usama? Usama radiyallahu anhu was the son of Zayd bin Haritha radiyallahu anhu, who was in the beginning considered as the adopted son of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to love Usama radiyallahu anhu. And people, even Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhi majma'een, used to call Usama Hibbu Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the one who's loved by the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. There were two reasons for it. Number one, Usama was the son of Zayd. Zayd was loved by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam because he's the one who gave Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam preference over his own parents. We will inshallah talk about him in detail once we get to him. And the second reason was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam married Zayd radiyallahu anhu to Ayman. Who was Ayman? If very quickly you go back, you will remember that Ayman was the woman who was with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam the time when he was in the desert standing by himself looking at his mother dying in front of his own eyes. The only person that was with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam at that time was Ayman radiyallahu anha. So Zayd radiyallahu anhu was married to Ayman radiyallahu anha, and Usama radiyallahu anhu's mother was Ayman. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to love Usama, and therefore he took a special care of Usama radiyallahu anhu in the upbringing of Usama radiyallahu anhu. And now, at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam's death, Usama radiyallahu anhu was no more than 18 years old when he's chosen to be the commander-in-chief for the whole army and the largest army that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ever prepared to send out without him being over there with them. All the great Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'een were under Usama radiyallahu anhu at that time. This army just started its journey, and they knew that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is very sick, so they stopped over there. And finally Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam passed away. Now all of these challenges, and everyone is planning to attack Medina Munawwara. And this army is about to leave Medina, which simply means majority of men will be leaving Medina Munawwara and leaving majority, mostly only women and children in Medina Munawwara. And at the same time, the Roman Empire is planning to attack Medina Munawwara. Musaylama Kadhab is planning to attack Medina Munawwara. Sajjah, who was another woman who claimed to be prophet, she's having her group to attack Medina Munawwara. From all around, people are planning to attack Medina Munawwara. And here, this is an army that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked them to leave before his death. A very difficult situation, what to do at this time. Only Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu's wisdom, iman, faith, and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was able to solve that problem. Very amazingly, he solved it, and by that he proved to be the greatest person who can really follow the steps of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, having the right understanding of our iman. Inshallah, we will talk about these three groups in detail and this situation in our next Jum'ah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.